people, and welcome to episode 4 of the Modernism series. And today we're going to explore the writing rules of Surrealism. Now, what is Surrealism? Well, Surrealism was a literary, artistic and revolutionary movement founded in Paris in the 1920s. Its primarily goal is to overcome societal traditions that oppressed the freedom that people had, and to explore a completely uninhabited manner and to reach the far limits of people's imaginations and dreams and desires, if you will. Surrealism is quite fun. You can do a lot with it, but let's get into it. So let's pick our character, shall we? Okay, so this is a bit of a weird one. Let's just clarify with, I don't have the money to purchase wigs, so I kind of did a half and half with embroidery thread. It kind of worked and it kind of didn't work, but you'll see it in the clip later. And I also tried to cut myself in half because unfortunately my partner doesn't like being on camera, so he can't really help me with the shots that require more than one person. And you probably have seen that in a bunch of the other videos as well, but that is the reason why I am doing it on my own, and there are invisible people in some of the shots, especially in previous videos and upcoming videos. But yes, that is the reason for that. But I think it works quite well for the Surrealism style, and obviously it's being filmed in lockdown. I didn't have access to other people or other resources. Also, yes, note, I am wearing the same outfit as I did in the formalism video. I am filming this all in one day and can't be bothered to change, basically. I know that sounds a bit lazy of me, but I've just filmed all of them today and I'm tired. Anyway, let's get into Surrealism. So, as you can see, it's weird, it's wacky, it's fun. So, before I continue, I'm going to say that I'm going to be using Spurt of Blood by Arto or Jet of Blood, either name. I've seen it both ways everywhere, and it's quite gruesome. I have done the gruesome parts in animation. Not very well, good animation, but they're not. It's okay. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Anyway, Arto is one of the biggest playwrights in Surrealism, and specifically theatre of cruelty. That's exactly what that sounds like. Basically, you just scare the hell out of your audience and freak them out, and that's the point, basically. Basically getting them to stretch their imagination as much as possible. Now, like your character, your set can be as weird as you want it to be. Now, again, I am limited to this white sheet behind me and the tree. As you can notice, the leaves are not on the tree anymore. They're on the floor. And this is because of one of the scenes in next week's video. And again, like I said, I filmed it all in one day. But yes, simple is good because you can maneuver it around. However, because it's Surrealism, you can do whatever you want. You aren't restricted in that sense, though I wouldn't go full realism with your sets if you were going to do a Surrealism piece, because then it feels off. It's supposed to be Surrealism, so people expect that your set's going to be weird and your costumes are going to be weird, but that's good. Surrealism is the rebel of the group of isms, and it kind of comes in with the 20s idealism and stuff like that, and how freedom, people want their freedom. So yeah, Surrealism is the rebel of the group. And by that I mean you have naturalism and realism who want to engage your audience and empathize with your characters, but then you have formalism, which is engaging the audience but in a way of logic and politics especially with Surrealism, its ideas is to freak out the audience. It breaks the fourth wall, and when, like, traditionally what the fourth wall means, and that's breaking the wall between the stage and the audience, and that's interacting with the audience, which makes Surrealism even more scary. As a person who does not like audience interaction, I have rarely been to a surrealist piece because I am terrified of getting involved. Especially if it's a third quality piece, because you'll be screamed at, you might get water thrown over you. It's a mixed bag right there. Also, get your actors to break character, and talk to the audience maybe for a bit. Just break in and out of character. That's quite similar to Modernism. They break in and out of character on stage. With Surrealism, you can interact with the audience and it makes sense. And to your writing. Now, there doesn't have to be a plot, though a little bit would be nice. Just to make sure it still flows nicely. Would be nice to have a little bit of plot, but it doesn't need to be there. And this is where I am going to show you the beginning. This is the beginning of Spurt of Blood, and I'm just going to show it to you, and then you can see what I mean when I said about animation earlier.
I love you and everything's beautiful.
You love me and everything's beautiful.
I love you and everything's beautiful.
You love me and everything is beautiful.
I love you. Face me.
There.
I am great, I am lucid, I am full, I am dense.
We love each other.
We are intense. Ah, how beautifully the world is built. The sky has gone mad.
As you can see by my terrible recreation of the two characters, that leads to raining limbs. Now, there's a really good version of Spurt of Blood on YouTube, and I'll link it down below. It's been there for a very long time by a school, I think, which is where I took like the kind of basic costume idea from. But that would give you a better idea of what it would look like on stage and not be animation. Like this shows, it doesn't have to make sense. As the story progresses, it gets weirder and weirder, and that's what you want. You want it to get stranger and stranger and be like, get the audience to be like, what the hell? Surrealism is a form that breaks away the subtext and just throws it all at the audience. It accuses the audience of things. It brings about maybe their shames, their desires. For example, in Spurt of Blood, right at the end, the person's supposed to be naked on stage or have their costume be see-through. Now, that's difficult to do at school, so obviously that didn't happen. Also, this play is quite short, and that's another thing. You can break those rules as well. You'll see more so in Absurdism, where you break down the structure, but like in Spurt of Blood, is very short. It still has very predominant 3 acts, but it is like maybe an hour at the most, maybe even less than that as a play itself. And because Surrealism is very dreamlike, you can get away with that. You can get away with a lot of things with it, and it makes it more fun to play around with. And I highly recommend attempting to write something like this, because it is fun and you can be very strange with it. You can be very dark with it, especially. Anyway, I think I have covered everything about Surrealism, about the main writing rules at least. If you want to know, if you want me to do a more in-depth video, then please comment down below. But anyway, let's reiterate the main rules. So, make it weird, basically. Make it as weird as you want. Have it be a bit more simplistic, maybe in just your set. Your characters can be whatever you want them to be. Make it a bit more dreamlike and obviously surreal. It doesn't have to make sense. There doesn't have to be a plot, but a little bit is always good. Or you could just leave it up to them. They can figure it out themselves. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know it's quite a different one, but that's what Surrealism is. Yes, if you liked and enjoyed, please click the like button and subscribe down below. Write a comment, tell me what you think. See you for our last episode next week. Bye!